Good day, YouTubers, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all around the world. We put that last sail on the forward mast. Or it wasn't the last sail, but last week we did that. And looking forward in the plans, the next thing they wanted me to do was some more decorations, which is a nice break from doing sails. And decorations are always a nice change. So I got a pin I stuck in there that's been over to hold that bracket while this dried. Did that a day or two ago, and put these frames on after we painted them and everything. This got gold on it and blue on the bracket. These are made out of pewter. I'm just noticing that this one is a little off. Should be lower on that spot there. I didn't notice that when I was gluing it on. Now it's crooked. I might have to take the X-Acto knife and push that one side down a little bit, clamp it and re-glue it. So anyway, the directions for this week are about decorations instead of sails, which is a nice change. So we're got the ones on the back that they wanted us to do, and the next thing they wanted us to do was pull them big pewter pieces out that were in this sleeve and glue all the sections together, and then put a little blackout, the sheets of blackout stuff in the window frames. So we did that on the side and the face, and these are going to mount on the port and the starboard stern area of the ship. So I'm thinking that these windows here will sort of line up with the they'll line up with the balcony. So obviously before we can put this on there, we got to paint it, and it's showing us notching out all these frame boards that are sticking out here, and a little piece at the very top we got to notch out. So we'll have to mark and notch those boards and cut them off, get them where they're not in the way for this to mount. Well, we got to paint them first. So the plans are showing similar to the way we painted these other pewter frame pieces in the balconies. The yellow and the blue in the lower part and the yellow in the raised part. So we're going to do the blue first, and then very carefully, after the blue dries, go in there and do the yellow on the raised areas. And there's a lot of detail on here, so we'll be referring to the pictures in the drawings to make sure we're putting the right color yellow and the right color blue in the right places. but the detail is going to be a big challenge. I do have a nice selection of brushes, but when you get into this kind of detail, even something like this is a little too big. I'll be looking at my finest ones. I have some in here that are really teeny. So the challenge is to paint and try to get it to look like this around to the side. No problem. Okay, have a little look at that. And blue in the background, the lower areas, and the yellow in the front top areas, the higher raised areas. So got the first rough coat on in all the lower areas on this one piece, and of course the yellow will help cover up where the blue is a little sloppy. And the more I look at it, the more I see maybe I should have this area right here blue above that shell. Yep. So that's the kind of things you try to piece out, looking back and forth at the drawings and looking at the work here. The brush is really small, but you don't want to get too small, because then you don't get no paint on there. You want to have enough paint where you don't have any areas that are showing too light. It's not thick enough and the background is showing through. So you got to get the paint on fairly thick in order to cover up. See, like right there, you want to cover up that pewter background. So you just keep at it until you feel like it's time for letting it dry. And now we'll tackle this one and do the same thing. Alright, while we're letting these dry here, I look forward in the prints, and these decorations are going to be part of, there's a pin in the back that goes on there somehow. Yep. So we're going to paint these gold, and in the process of looking in the instructions as far as painting these and getting it ready to mount and cutting those ribs out of the way. I also noticed these figurines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 figurines sit in different areas on these pieces here after we get them mounted. So I'm going to go ahead and pre-paint them too. But the figurines came with their arms and their head. This one had their head separate and their arms separate, and this one only had an arm. And I've got them rigged into the clips here to hold both pieces, and it's set vertically where this arm is resting. Gravity holding in place to let it dry. And we're using some E8000. Yeah, I busted my cell phone screen a while back, and instead of taking it to the You Break We Fix It store, I ordered one of these from Amazon, and it comes with a kit to the kit's got tools in it and stuff, so you can remove the screen and put a new screen in there. So for like $35, the kit with the tools and the glue and a new case for the phone, because my old case was not protecting it good. And it also comes with one of them screen guard things you stick on there. So I took it all apart and spent about 4 hours putting it back together, and they suggested to use E8000 to glue that new screen in place. So that's what I used, and I have two tubes that I ordered. And what's really nice about these is it's got that little teeny spout, so you can really do some precise gluing there. When you're done, it pushes the stuff back down into. So I've used this a couple times when we were gluing new stuff on the back of the ship there. I showed you earlier in the video, and it seems to work pretty good. It's nice and tacky. So that's what we've got on these pieces here. Her arm is glued on with that, and her head and her arm on there. And we'll use that later on when we glue these pieces on, because they just set on here. I think this one sets up here or something like that. I'll have to look at the plans again, but all of these are part of this decoration. So I'm going to paint these gold while we're waiting on that to dry, because I can't do any yellow until that's good and dry. I'm probably going to wait till next week, because it's Friday and I got to put the video up tonight. So we'll wait till that's good and dry before we do the yellow. You can see on the plans there, yellow is like perfect. Like they rolled it on so it didn't get down in the lower areas somehow. It'd be nice to have some kind of stamp pad applicator that would just put it on the upper surfaces and not get down in the lower surfaces, but that's like going to be impossible with these raised edges. Got a lot of raised edges everywhere, but we'll work through it just like we did the blue. Make these gold. There you can see there how those statues come in pieces. And we're gluing them together, and some of them are going to sit on the corners of the decoration. So I got those painted gold. You gotta let all that stuff dry now. And we'll do the yellow. And then I gotta cut these raised ribs off of here to accommodate that. The gold and they're showing them all the same color. And I like the way the figurines stand out with the gold against the yellow and the blue. So we'll carry that same effect along with the other figurines that are here already that are gold. On this two stern decorations. I noticed in the plans after this it's another sail. So we're back to sails after we get these mounted. Thanks for watching.